Hey everybody, Ro here, and this is my first Q&A in a very long time where I'll be answering some of you guys' questions you left on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook. So music questions first. Black Earache, a fantastic YouTuber buddy of mine by the way, asks, what is in your opinion the most essential metal band for someone to listen to get into the metal genre? I would probably say one of the best ones to get into at first might be Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden makes these really creative songs, they're based on movies and books, and a lot of their music isn't too heavy, but it's just very exciting, and it's one of my favorites. Alright, my buddy Sanjesh, or Highly Insane, asks, knowing you cover songs in a variety of styles and genres, is there a particular genre you haven't done yet that you would like to attempt someday? I feel like I've always been very open-minded when it comes to performing in genres. I've done mostly rock and metal on this channel, but there's been things like jazz. I've tried to do some acoustic stuff and even orchestra mixed in, and I definitely want to try integrating more acoustic stuff. I want to do some southern rock things, maybe musical and more like vocal sort of music styles or things that cater towards it, and I love integrating like cinematic electronic instruments into my music. I wouldn't be able to put one genre as my, next goal, but I just want to get better at making metal in addition to making other genres and collaborating with people from other worlds. So another question he asks is there any advice you'd give to those starting covers and learning music and those who are self-tutoring? I am not formally taught, but I had lessons for 4 or 5 years. I think there's a huge misnomer where people think they don't need a teacher, which is true. Not everyone does, but I do think there's a lot of benefit to having a teacher. I also happen to teach through Patreon and so on and so forth because I believe this. I would definitely say look for peers who are also beginning and try to share one new thing with them every chance that you get. Practicing for 15 to 30 minutes a day, if not more. And when I say practice, I don't just mean hold your guitar and play something you already know, but practice a few scales for like 5 minutes. Use your metronome. You can leave the TV on, but definitely just focus on that. And then play something you like, and just pick up anything and everything that you can. Now for starting covers, I do recommend checking out a lot of recording guides. I have one on my channel, which is under my recording guide playlist. I also have a second channel called Panuganti where I put mixing sessions, where I just go over one of my songs and I kind of talk about how I made it, and some of those might be able to help. I've gotten some amazing feedback on those. JNSK asks, how do you find good songs to cover and arrange? So I have a weird case here because I've been doing Patreon requests almost every single month. There's been maybe 2 or 3 requests, and I have this huge list of songs and music related projects that I do. So right now I've been getting a lot of help from patrons who've been directly requesting, which I no longer do unfortunately, as well as my monthly theme contest where people are giving me songs. Now if I can't think of songs to do, or if you can't and you're asking for advice, of course, I would recommend look for all the places, movies. Watch some movies with great soundtracks, or soundtracks that you hear a lot of your friends or peers like. Play some games. See if you find something that's really exciting and can't get out of your head. My buddy David Russell asks, what do you look for when choosing your basses and guitars? Is it a matter of weight, tone, price? I would not be able to limit down all the factors just for this video. I could talk for hours, but I would definitely suggest looking at things like your price range to begin, and these are all very subjective rules. I usually go for brands that I know I've enjoyed or I've heard someone I enjoy play. I like lighter guitars. Usually the bodies are alder or basswood or something that I can really pick up and just play with. Scale length is actually important, how long your guitar is. I go for 25.5, but I definitely recommend going longer if you tune down. I also really think electronics are important. I always have to have a very good passive mid-gain pickup, something that has a lot of detail to it, but a lot of people will enjoy other options there. My favorite brands are probably, as you can tell, Ibanez. I've enjoyed Sterling and Music Man guitars. I like Fender guitars. There's a lot of smaller brands too that definitely deserve shout outs, but I don't own any others. I'm also a fan of ESP, and I have one of their guitars as well. The Musical Gamer asks, quick, choose a type of cheese. I gotta say mozzarella is the first one that comes to mind, but I like Gruyere. I like all those fancy ones you get at parties that I don't know the names of. Brie, that one's also really nice. In all seriousness, what is your favorite classical piece? I don't listen to very much classical music. Most of my knowledge is from Tom and Jerry and cartoons and very small instances where I've gotten the opportunity to listen to that genre. That being said, I do like, you know, sparse amount of music. I've listened to Hungarian Symphony. That was in an episode of Tom and Jerry. I really like that. Now, Kitty actually and my buddy Gabe Ocarina have both asked me a question. Of all your covers, which are you most proud of and why? Because of whatever reasons. This is a very, very hard question for me to answer because I do not put out any videos that I'm not at least 10% proud of. And I have a lot of songs that I didn't think I would love, but I've started playing my music live on Twitch every Friday or so, and now I like a lot of them. I would say Jago's Theme is the cover that I would show someone if they asked me, what is your best cover? I also enjoy my arrangement of Dearly Beloved with David Russell on piano, as well as Forest Temple from Ocarina of Time, which I recently did. But every new cover, I tried my best to make it my next proudest. I'm also very proud of Stickerbush Symphony, which I arranged with 16 in Mono. It's on our album Shanty Rays, basically a Diddy Kong Country 2 pirate metal album. Dachingrata asks, how do you find the right balance between doing a cover that you absolutely love and have ideas for, but isn't popular, versus one that's from a popular song series and it'll have a decent exposure, but you don't like the piece? This is a really hard question, and I think a lot of people have discussed this, including my friends Insane in the Rain Music and Jackson Perotti Music. It is really hard to choose a song that you hate, but you know it's going to be popular, and cover it. We also want to attract more people and grow. And the reason why a lot of people want to grow their channel is because the larger your channel is, the more opportunities you get. You can play on stage, you might meet more people, you might get to work with neat companies, and all of that just culminates by doing more popular videos and getting more views. And it seems from afar very superficial, but we're just trying to make a living and, you know, grow our brand. And sometimes it's also because a lot of people like it. Maybe I should see why I like it too. We're trying to be flexible and grow. With all of that in mind, I personally don't do a lot of songs that are popular. But when I do, they don't necessarily do that much better than my other covers. It might just be the way I've done them, or they're not the same style that's worth trending. Maybe I changed them too much. I don't know. I've done a Persona 5 cover while this game series is pretty popular. I did something a little clickbaity, like 50 Disney movies on guitar. And a lot of that is me trying to meet halfway with the expectations of YouTube, that if I do these things, it'll help me grow and get these very cool opportunities. At the end of the day, I won't do a cover if I just hate playing it. So I always try to take advantage of that and just change everything I don't like about it into something I do. If someone told me I have to make a pop cover or something, I'm gonna hate it unless I make it metal. Outside of requests, I'm always picking the songs that I feel I can do a really cool job with and will enjoy playing again on stream and all of that. Sean081799 asks, how often do you make a mistake in recording videos? Do you re-record it? Do you let it slide? How do you manage them? This is horrible for me. I have left so many mistakes in the last 5 to 6 years on YouTube that it actually is something I'm very self-conscious about, and it can be really bothersome if I think about it too seriously, like, oh my god, look at all these horrible mistakes I've made. I'm terrible at all this stuff, poorly faking videos, or there'll be sound left in and the angle's not right, or I'm not in focus. Eventually I just have to be okay with it, because if I don't put out a video frequently, or if I don't hear back one person or even myself being like, okay, that was pretty cool, then I don't get that motivation to make the next video and to improve. It's all about like this momentum. It's important to be okay making mistakes, because we're all human, and not every mistake I catch someone else might catch. Alex Venos asks, what's your go-to guitar and why? So right now, my go-to guitar, as you could probably imagine, this is my Sterling JP170D. It's a 7-string guitar made by Music Man's smaller company, Sterling, so it's more affordable. It's John Petrucci's signature from Dream Theater, if you guys know who that is. And the reason why it's my go-to, it has locking tuners which keep tuned pretty darn well, which is something I have to be very careful with because I play in such low tunings. This string right now goes down to an A for a lot of my music. This is a discontinued model. The Sterling John Petrucci models don't have the DiMarzio signature Crunch Lab liquefier pickups, and I use these in almost all of my guitars. These pickups are very detailed. I can get a very visceral, dare say genty, metal tone, but I can also get something a little more rock, a little darker if I need to do something more jazz related or smooth. And as I lower the volume knob, I get a clearer, less gainy signal. And with a lot of pickups, if you lower the volume knob, your tone is just very flubby, it doesn't last. And besides that, it just feels really nice. It's comfortable, it's smaller than some other guitars, and it's contoured very nicely. So I just am able to play everything on my channel with this guitar very comfortably. And I use it on stream almost exclusively. Computer Crash Gaming asks, lol, how do I Reaper? Reaper, if you guys don't know, is an audio software I've been using for the last 4 years to make all of my music. And Reaper has a lot of tutorials on its website. It's made by a company called Kakos. It's on version like 5.1 or something. And it has a free evaluation license for 60 days, or it's just 60 bucks. So there's a lot of tutorials on my channel, of course. You can go to my recording guide. And you can also check out Ropano 2, my second channel, where I have a lot of mixing sessions, again, using Reaper. So it's a pretty simple program once you have it down. Just learn one little task at a time. How do I make a track? How do I set it up with my interface? You know, how do I start mixing? And eventually it'll be easy. Saria asks, you planning on going to MAG 18, also Tread Plate or 5153? I do plan on going to MAGFest. I've gone since, I think, 2013 or 14. To MAGFest every single year. It's a fantastic convention in Washington, D.C. There's a lot of people from the video game music community and just a lot of fun. So I've gone every year. I actually had the wonderful opportunity to perform this year with my friends Geminon as well as Chris Salat from Tetramino. Now the second part of the question is asking between I believe the Mesa Boogie Tread Plate or the EVH 5153 model amplifiers. I don't play real amplifiers, obviously, but I have played both of those, and I use the Axifx XL for all of my tones, which is respectably close in my opinion because I have played through those. I would probably say Tread Plate for leads because it's just a little bit smoother, and the 5150 amps, just fantastic rhythm tones. So that would be my choices there, and that's actually the models that I sometimes use for my guitar covers. Tyler N. Jazz asks, what genres other than rock and metal, etc., would you want to explore on your channel more in the future? Now, I answered this before, but specifically, I think musicals, I want to cover those, and the style that'll be in is probably closer to rock or rock opera music where it's got some piano in it, a little more vocals. Omar One Up asks, what cover was the most difficult to arrange? Now this is really hard because a lot of my songs aren't very complex arrangements per se, but learning very difficult songs can be tough. So my cover of Hellfire with Julia Henderson was probably one of the hardest covers I've ever done because I had to learn an extremely complex setting and mix 40 vocal tracks within a very large metal setting, and that one ended up being very challenging. Pre-Marina for Life asks, how long have you been on YouTube? I've been on YouTube for a long time in the sense I've been using it and I've had like terrible videos. So I want to say 2012. There's probably some footage of me playing concerts with my guitar teacher and stuff, and the very first cover I would consider on my channel to be first is I did a Lord of the Rings rock medley, which is like the most terribly, under-arranged medley possible, and it's on my channel. Eric L. asks, if you had the opportunity to compose a new video game OST, what genre of video game would you want to write music for? I think I enjoyed the most hearing stuff from the Doom soundtrack because it was very much metal, very electronic and cinematic, and I feel like that's where I should naturally gravitate to, something that's very guitar-centric. The VG Musician asks, if you could instantly master any artist's style of playing any instrument, what artist and instrument would you choose? For fun, obviously. I'm a huge fan of John Petrucci's work because it's very versatile, and not only can the dude shred, but he writes some very beautiful melodic music, especially if you listen to Images and Words. That being said, like Guthrie Govan has a huge range of style. He can play country chicken pickin', he can do some incredible legato lines, he can play jazz. So I would love to have very versatile musicians' styles. My buddy David Kang asks, what is one incredibly stupid song you'd like to cover one day that isn't from a game or an anime? I am planning on covering stuff from Hamilton. I want to cover every Van Halen song ever made in one medley with actual like background, not just playing it on guitar and stuff. I have a lot of crazy ideas for this and that. I love to do, 90s one-hit wonder kind of songs. So Dachin asks, what is the best way to get inspiration when it's one of those unproductive days? When I have very unproductive days, I pretty much set the stone that I'm probably not going to get too much music done, or at least not on the computer. But I think it's really important to step away from the world of music in order to get better at music. So some of my hobbies will be like just watching a lot of TV or movies. I'll play games. Sometimes I just like to read up on different articles and try to see if I get any ideas for things. One of the biggest things I like to do, of course, is cook. I think it's really relaxing. It can be very healthy compared to ordering out. Now we're gonna get into some personal questions or stuff about me. So this question comes from Sanjesh, highly insane. Ro, are you currently finding yourself short on time considering having a full-time job and having to do weeklies? So to begin, I am working full-time. That means, 40 hours a week for those of you guys unfamiliar with that. And I've graduated from college, but my job full-time means that during the day I'm doing something challenging but exciting, and at the end of the day, from 5 o'clock until I choose to sleep, usually 11 or 12, I have to make the best of my time. So I try my best to schedule it. You have to be open for things to change, emergencies happen, and you do lose days. Some days there's no music done. Who knows what I'll do today? I'm doing this Q&A. But one of the biggest things is just plan realistically what you can do. Get very good and very quick at the things that don't need attention. Starting a project, getting the song into your DAW, and writing down ideas for arrangements. One of the biggest things people I see doing in VGM now is they want to start making covers as fast as possible, but a lot of their time is spent on the computer. I think a lot of the time should be spent on your instrument too, so you develop a very fond connection to it, and you can just pick it up and learn songs. If you started playing your instrument just like a week ago, it's going to be harder for you to learn the song and write your arrangement or whatever you're doing. So Splarf asks, how old are you? Are you going to school at the moment in music theory or anything else? I'm 23, I turned 24 in November, and I'm obviously not in school, I'm working full time. I've never studied music theory in college, I studied computer science. Cheeto asks, how did you decide on your major? I wanted to do computer science as well. That's awesome that you want to do computer science. I actually started as a computer engineer, but there was so much electronics and math, and I wasn't really enjoying it, so I started looking at all my friends in computer science and seeing why they were inspired to do it. And I realized they all liked making games on the side or professionally. They all liked virtual reality and 3D applications and modeling and making stuff that was, really interesting and working in really cool environments. Donovan Porter asks, where did you get that shirt? I kind of took this question because at the time I was wearing something that I got at Target or Walmart, but I get a lot of my t-shirts from the Yeti, T-Turtle, Amazon sometimes. It just depends, but there's a lot of t-shirts. There's a website called Day of the Shirt where there's a daily nerdy t-shirt sale. Diego Onge asks, what do you do for a living? Do you want to live doing music, I guess full time? So for a living right now I'm working in software supporting an electricity company, and we basically power this side of America by doing all sorts of different stuff. So it's a pretty interesting job. Now I'm not a full-time musician, and I actually don't think I would want to be a full-time musician, because from what I've seen and from what I know, A lot of the time I would not be able to choose what kind of music I do, that I would be spending way more hours working on things than I would be comfortably sleeping or getting to my other hobbies, and I just enjoy making software and, you know, games and doodads and apps and whatever way more. So I think I'm going to try doing both. Momega asks, how was balancing a computer science major while posting high quality videos every week? I'll be majoring in that in the coming semester. Well, first of all, congratulations for majoring in computer science. It's an exciting field. I can't say I posted high quality videos during college. In fact, only the last 2 years I would say are, you know, competitively quality videos. To that effect, of course, I am proud of a lot of the work that I got done, but the thing is, you just have to manage both your time, your friends, importantly, and your hobbies so that you don't get burned out. And if you want to do something crazy like doing weeklies, I think you have to really commit to the level of quality that you are going to make, and don't expect yourself to make a lot of big improvements that take up a ton of time. Christian Richardson, have you considered doing a weekly cooking show? I have not, because that would be a lot of work, but I do stream myself cooking now and then. I stream on Twitter using, Periscope, and I have one new cooking video on my second channel, Ropanu2. So maybe if you guys have some recipes you want me to make, then I'll try them out. If they're video game related, that'd be even cooler. Metal Fortress asks, what is your favorite Indian food? So I'm actually second generation Indian. I was born here, but my folks were not. And I've grown up eating a lot of North Indian and South Indian food, which are very different cuisines, almost like two different countries at times. So for North Indian cuisine, I like eating chicken tikka masala. I'm a big fan of palak paneer, goat curry, a lot of different things, honestly. Most of these things are like gravies. When you say the word curry, it's kind of like saying sandwich. It doesn't mean anything to us until you say what's in it. But yeah, I enjoy a lot of that. For South Indian food, my ideal kind of breakfast brunch would be an onion dosa, which is kind of like a very hot fried bread filled with grilled onions and different spices dipped in coconut chutney. And chutney, for those guys who don't know, is kind of like a relish. It's just like a nice tangy dipping sauce. So there you go. And I also enjoy lassis, which are kind of like a Indian milkshake. Hugo Jintran, or Toxodentrail, asks, how much food can you cook and which one have you the most trouble with? So I can't put a ballpark on it, but I feel like I can cook something from most popular cuisines. I, can make tacos, I can do sandwiches, of course, I can do steaks, chicken, fish, shrimp, Cajun. The ones I have most trouble with, I am not the best at making omelets. I have not made one where it didn't look kind of terribly burned. I also haven't really baked a lot of desserts, so I guess go with that. Kane White asks, if you had to make one dish to impress somebody, what would it be? So I thought very long about this question. So to begin, if the person were eating meat, then I would definitely make my sriracha chicken wings. They're fantastically baked, so they're a little healthier. And basically what I do is I just bake them in the oven, flip halfway through. The spice rub on them is pretty neat, and then I make a sauce using sriracha, honey. Now if the person were a vegetarian, I'd have a little more trouble, so I would do my breakfast scrambled eggs on fresh toast, but if the person is a vegan, I will have to get back to you because I just do not know any vegan meals. And the final question of the Q&A is from Billy the Bard 11, another fantastic YouTuber like all of these people. What doesn't sriracha or sriracha sauce go with? So the only thing I would say it shouldn't go with is probably some sort of liquid. Like, I don't think I would want to drink sriracha soda. Okay, I probably would try it. Thanks so much for watching my Q&A. If you got this far, or even if you watched a little bit, I really do appreciate every one of you guys. There's now 8,000 subscribers, which is an incredible number I don't think I would have believed I would get when I started. And it's just growing very, very amazingly. And more importantly, you guys have been able to get me all these opportunities. If you tweet out my videos when they come out, or if you like them on Facebook, or you share them with a friend, or post it to Reddit or something, you're doing me a humongous service because it helps grow the entire Panuganti channel and the whole viewer family. And I've been able to get my first sponsorship at WB Gear, who helped me get my own custom guitar picks, and a lot of other opportunities just because of the size of the channel and the amazing stuff that we can do. I'm hoping to share with you guys some really cool new album stuff. I can't talk about all of them. There's definitely going to be a Metroid one, and I really want you guys to be as involved as possible. So keep sending questions. Tweet at me if you'd like at Panuganti, or you can leave a comment here. You can message me on my Facebook page, Panuganti Music. So I hope you guys stick around. I hope you enjoyed this Q&A, and if you have any other questions, you can always leave them by. Thanks so much for watching.